This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everyone. Life is all about communication. We communicate more now than ever. We're communicating, whether it's by text, whether it's by email, whether it's if somebody's actually talking on the phone again. We do that. And there's communication in everything. And yes, we can communicate with our animals. She does it all the time. I witnessed it. I've learned I can do it to some extent. She trains service dogs for people with disabilities. She's also an animal behaviorist, and she works with dogs that have issues, aggression, maybe fearfulness, anxiety, but she also communicates. That's the baseline here, communication with animals. We're going to talk more about that today as we welcome her back. Katherine Andrews is on the program. How's everything going with you?
Hey, going great. Absolutely wonderful. Our fall weather has kicked in here in South Dakota, so I'm happy. But I was going to tell you, Steve, I had an unusual phone call this morning about some communication with a person who told me that he identifies as a dog. And I've heard of that before, but I don't know a lot about it. And he wanted me to do some animal behavior work with him one-on-one
Wow.
because he identifies as a dog. And let me tell you why maybe I didn't think this was as strange as most people would. And I've shared this with a lot of people, and I'm very open about my life. I was raised in a pedophile ring. I had a very rough upbringing. And so that's why I formed a close bond with animals, both wild animals and domestic animals, because they virtually saved my life and kept me going when I was with people who didn't treat me well, didn't love me. And I identified as a child as an animal. I identified as a dog. I acted like a dog and did things that would make you think that I was a dog. My parents chose to ignore the behavior, but they were not your normal parents, obviously. So maybe for me, this didn't really seem like as odd a thing as most people would think it would be. So tell me what do you know about this, Steve, and what would you handled it this morning when someone called you at 5:45 in the morning and said they wanted some animal behavior work because they identified as a dog?
Well, you have more insight on this than I do, but I can say that I feel that sometimes our animals look at us as we're one of them. And maybe we're more like them than we realize. They can pick up on things. They can read your energy and everything connected to it. So if you've ever felt like your dog treats you like you're one of the pack, maybe there's a reason for that and you're not even aware of it. So I don't discount anything here. I don't judge anybody.
Hey, that's kind of how I am, because I'm a part of the LGBTQ crowd. Um, I identified as a dog when I was a kid. I don't know that I've ever really even discussed this because it never comes up, honestly.
Mhm.
But I did. I identified more as a dog just because the humans I was with treated me so cruelly. I identified as a dog. And I don't know, maybe this gentleman, I didn't get a lot of time to talk to him. I told him I'd get back with him because I needed to do a little research on what he was saying because I wanted to, if I'm going to try to help him, um, have a little bit more information for myself.
Did he know your history before he called you?
No, well, no, not my familiar history, I don't think.
Well,
All he knew was that I'm an animal behaviorist. He identifies as a dog, and he feels like some of his behavior as a dog is naughty, and the person that he lives with is okay with him identifying as a dog, and she wanted him to correct some of his behavior. And that's kind of as far as we got in the conversation.
do you find it interesting or not? Maybe it just makes sense that he reached out to you, even if you knew each other prior. He didn't know your story, but he still reached out to you. Sounds like he picked up on maybe your energy, and there's a reason why he did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you and I both talked about this just a little bit as far as what you put out there to the universe brings back to, and I think that a lot of times people tell me things or confide in me because they know that I'm not judgmental and that I've been through a lot. And because of what I've lived, I'm very understanding and compassionate and not judgmental. So, yeah, I would say that he probably did reach out to me because maybe he read some of my reviews and some of the things I've done with people and handled and how I've handled it, and maybe thought that if anybody's going to help him, because I think you probably talk to your normal psychiatrist and they would say they wouldn't, their take on this would be probably kind
It
of
would be a different view
see.
because until you communicate with animals and or figure out how to do it, and as I've understood it, we all can do it to a degree. To a degree, there's others like yourself that is so fine tuned into it. But I've shared some examples where I feel like after understanding this that I am communicating. I am, and I don't think it's just uh, a one-off or a fluke situation. I feel that there is
No,
communication.
yeah. Right, because animals are telepathic. That's how they communicate. And when I work with animals, I don't do a lot of talking. Sometimes I don't talk at all. I let them read my thoughts. I let them read my body language. And that's the purest form of communication with animals. But I
Hmm.
was going to say, I don't, we're going to open this up for listeners at some point. We haven't yet, but you can reach me through the website and through email if we have listeners that are listening to this and would like to give me some input and support and knowledge. I'd love to hear from people who might have some experience
Yeah.
with identifying as a dog or another animal.
By the way, instant feedback, Steve at gmail.com. If you want to reach out to us, you keep it anonymous too. Um, how would somebody know that they identify with a certain animal? Maybe how would you confirm it in your own mind?
Well, I can only tell you how I felt, and that was as a child. I just felt closer to dogs than I did to people. And honestly, I know there's a lot of people out there that do feel that, even though they don't identify as a dog. But then again, maybe there's a lot of people out there who identify as animals we don't hear from. I don't know. You know, this is just why I
Hmm.
decided to open this up today because this
Yeah.
is a whole new thing
Well,
for
you know what?
me.
Let's go deeper into the distinction. We're not necessarily saying that somebody's walking around on all fours barking because they identify as a dog. That's not, that can be, no judgment, whatever.
Right.
But it's
Well, I
more of
did when I was a child, but I was a child,
you were a
so
child. Yeah. But
different.
you know,
But
the
yeah.
flip side of that is if you feel more connected and you can't identify, it's like, why, you could say I identify as a dog. But maybe what you're saying is I connect with them in such a way that, I feel like I'm one of them. Does that make sense?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see people in my practice many times who are more a part of their dog pack than they are a part of a human pack. And that's their family. They bring to me their family, and I work on their family, and their family is dogs. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's dogs and cats. Sometimes there's a bird in there, or even a turtle or something. But yeah, yeah. So you did a good translation there when you just said that you don't necessarily have to act like a dog to identify more with dogs than I've known zookeepers. I had a client who was a zookeeper, and he took care of big cats, and that was his pack. That was his family. And so we worked on him and one of the lions that he was having problems with. So,
Mm.
your pack is your pack. It's who you feel the most love and support and acceptance from, and that may not be people.
And you may not know how your animal is viewing you. For example, this is yesterday. My dog is going on 8. I share him with my ex, and I was picking him up yesterday, and he was walking on the ground, and he barks. He's very chill. He's very chill. You know, he'll bark every. So he knows I'm coming to pick him up. So he's not letting me grab him. So he's like, he's over here. And when I first got him, it was sort of like that. He was a puppy, and I was almost afraid, like, oh, well, we're not gonna mesh here. Something's up. I got on the ground like a dog, and that was a game changer. Yesterday, he's barking, and I'm like, all right, well, should have brought a treat. And we're gonna grab him. And he jumps up on a patio table that was low, and then I just picked him up, and it was easy. I feel that, he's viewing me as a pack member, but I don't know where in the hierarchy I am. But when he was on that table, he was closer to my view. He was, we're more level, if you will. And he, no fight whatsoever, just picked him up, walked away. It was all good. What do you think was going on there?
Well, he was telling you how he wanted you to pick him up and how he wanted to be handled. I wouldn't say that he didn't view you as a pack leader. I mean, he was showing you what he wanted. He was communicating to you. And you're actually a really good communicator with animals. I can tell by the way you talk to me and the things that you say and what you observe from animals that you're really good at it, just naturally. But you second guess yourself a lot. Probably a lot of people do. So no, if you're having problems with leadership, then you're having problems with a dog doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Like they're chewing up your stuff, they're peeing on your stuff, they're growling at people, they're biting people. That is a dog that's not recognizing you as a pack leader. Your dog is communicating with you and saying, hey, I want you to pick me up from this table, or I want you to get down and pick me up. Now, that's just communication.
I'm going to share another one in terms of communication because this was now this morning. My daughter's in bed. She's on her phone, and I have one really mushy cat, and I got him for a specific reason of healing and everything. He's amazing. He just this can't even put it into words. He's just fantastic, but he loves to be mushy and he loves to be in your face and he just wants to get up there and he starts drooling. He's so happy. And I was like, do you want Rocco in your room? She's like, no, no, he's going to get like all over the place. So he jumps up on her
Yeah.
bed and I look at him and I say, Rocco, don't jump on her. You need to sit next to her and lay down. And that he was not going to do. Normally, that's not him. He turns
Mhm.
around, he sits down next to her, and he doesn't get all mushy and everything, so she can do what she was doing. I am thoroughly 100% convinced he knew what I was saying. I was also vibing it. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking
Yeah,
it and I'm
absolutely.
saying it.
Yeah.
Not even he's never done that. Like, and it was the first time where I actually would.
You maybe never expected him to do it, but that time you did. I always tell people we don't expect enough out of our animals, probably our kids the same. Um, we don't expect enough out of them. We just give them a chance and explain things and let them know. A lot of times they rise to the occasion.
Mm. Well, proof in everything that we're talking about here that communicating with animals is possible. It works. It does. What advice can you give us? Let's say you want to send a message to your dog or cat, behavioral issue or not. What's the best way to do that?
To think it in a really positive manner. You say, for instance, you have a dog that's doing something that you don't want, maybe peeing on the floor. Um, Instead of scolding them and telling them no. I mean, initially, I think if you catch them, you need to tell them no and put them outside and then praise them when they do the right thing. But if you put the thought out there, hey, mom or dad is going to have a lot more time to spend with you outside playing if I don't have to clean up these messes. So let's go
Hmm.
outside. Let's go play and let's not pee in the house anymore. If you really set forth that intention, dogs, animals are big on intentions. I walk into somebody's house and people will say, my dog's never acted like that before. Like usually he growls at people, usually he jumps on them. He goes, she was really respectful of you. He was friendly, but he didn't jump on you? Well, because I set forth the intention before I walked in the door that we're going to have a respectful, kind meeting and that I'm there to help him and I have good
Wow.
intentions. So all of that, he heard me as I was getting up to the door, getting out of the car, sometimes on the way over there, I start to connect with an animal many times, and I already know them before I get there. So by the time I get there, we've already met. And people um, don't even think about that. They don't even think about setting that intention. But that's a really powerful thing to do. It's a powerful thing to do with anyone, people too, but we sort of forget about our intentions. Dogs are huge, animals are huge on intention. What did you mean for this segment of time before you arrived, before you came into my presence?
Wow. Um, didn't even think of that because your animal, especially dogs, they already know you pulled into the driveway. They already know that you're there. They hear you. They can
They
sense it.
know I can talk to their owners and they know the first time I talk to the owner and we set the intention for the behavioral modification or the service dog training, that dog knows the day I'm coming and they'll be like looking in the window to see where is she, at the time. Or that morning, they're dancing around the kitchen excited because they know we're going to get started that day. So they hear, they know. And it's not because they even hear the phone call, it's because they know what's going on in your head and they telepathically connect with their owners and they telepathically connect with me because that's why when I do an intake form I say what's the dog's name, um what's his personality like, what's his breed, and so that's how I get in touch with him telepathically. So
Wow.
before I get there, we've already forged a relationship and an intention.
Thank you for that. I never thought of that. That's like just makes so much sense that set the
Doesn't it?
intention, before you walk through the door. You
Yeah.
pull the car into the driveway, they can pick up on it. And by the way, for anybody that thinks this is now going down a major woo road, all about energy. And when you say to a human, you say, "Hey, I'm praying for you for the best outcome, on your surgery, or wishing you all the best." And they live 4,000 miles away. You're sending energy. So I got to believe you're pulling your car into the driveway, and you're gonna connect with your pet, your dog, whatever.
Hmm.
They got it. They got it. Hmm. Setting the intention. Wow. I'm gonna try that when I get home today.
So, and it's something that you've already been doing, really, when you think about it, you've already been doing it. But now that I put it into a context of ABC, and
Sure.
verbalize, now you can do it on purpose all the time, every time.
Yeah, but now it's on my
Um,
radar.
um, yeah,
Um,
yeah, right. It's on your radar. So now you can more powerfully get what you want from a segment of time with an animal. It works for humans too, honestly.
oh yeah, I mean it's all about energy, whether whether it's a fly or whether it's a human or dog or cat. Um, you help
Listen, let me
people
tell you
figure this
something.
out.
I forget to do it myself. I forget to do it myself when I'm dealing with my own family, when I'm dealing with my own animals sometimes because we get so kind of lackadaisical or um yeah, we just don't follow protocols much. And so it's good for me to hear my own wisdom and remember myself to
Yeah,
to be more kind, more respectful, set my intentions because that's what you do when you set your intentions. You're more kind, you're more respectful, um you're more loving.
yeah. Well, you have a direction. A lot of us don't have direction, so you're setting one. How do we
Right.
connect with you, Catherine? Somebody having behavioral issues with their animal, they want to learn how to communicate, connect. How do they find you?
Go to the website animalpsychologycenter.com. Send me an email. You can call me, text me,
Love it.
and yeah,
You're here
easy.
to help. You're here to
I
help.
am. That is my mission in life, always has been.
And again, instant feedback, steve@gmail.com if you want to reach out to us that way. Final thought, not animal related. In your background, are those pumpkin decorations?
Yes, I'm a big holiday decorator, Steve, and so
You don't waste any time.
decorate. like crazy for Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the major holidays. Yeah.
Wow.
I love Halloween, especially because I always considered myself sort of like a white witch. White witches were the original healers, and a lot of people kind of don't understand white witches. I mean, um, I've done regression therapy, and that's how I kind of know that I was a white witch. I've never been one this lifetime on purpose or anything, but
Mm.
yeah, it kind of has a special meaning for me because I think that when I did regression therapy and I found out that I was always a healer, it made sense to me. Like, oh yeah, that's
Mm.
always been me.
I did my first ever past life regression 2 months ago. Whoa.
Really? Oh my gosh,
I'm
cool.
I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised, but I can say that I'm about 60 something percent there in believing it's legit because certain things wouldn't have presented and I wouldn't have been feeling a certain way or as emotional if the
Mhm.
stuff wasn't real. There's
Yeah.
just no way. So thanks for sharing your validation of a past life. It's cool to me. It really is.
Yeah,
Thank you for
you're
being here
welcome.
today and all the insight. Really appreciate it. Great having you on.
Take care. Till next week.
You got it. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.